At 5:30, I will call the meeting to order. Madam Recorder, if you would call the roll.
Chairperson Laura Harrison,
Here.
Vice Chair Jeremy Burnett,
Here.
Keith Acton,
Present.
Deborah Thomas, Shell Childs, Superintendent Horrell.
Here.
We do have a quorum. As everyone is aware, this is a special called meeting, so we will only be discussing the items on the agenda. Mr. Superintendent, will you lead us through our agenda?
I will. The first item on the agenda is discussion action on board review of disciplinary hearing authority decision of May 25th, 2023.
Is there a motion for this item?
So moved.
So we have a motion. Mr. Burnett, will you state specifically what your motion would be regarding this item?
If I
Or
can,
if you would like
if
to.
I can,
Just
yeah,
get it
just
on
give
the
some
floor.
background. Yes, we are on the floor properly. As the board knows, there was a disciplinary hearing authority decision made on May 25th, 2023, and per Lakeland School System policy, there is the opportunity for basically anyone involved with the decision to request a board review of the DHA decision. The board has been presented with all of the applicable information regarding the DHA. There's a thorough record of the hearing itself as well as the accompanying evidence that was used in the DHA and all of the background. The board has had the opportunity to ask questions of me to get any additional background that the board requests. So at this point, per the policy, the board has two decision points in front of you. One is whether to permit or to deny a hearing on the decision of the DHA in which additional evidence or hearing information would be presented to the board. And then once that decision is made, then there would be a separate decision by the board as to whether or not to uphold or overturn the decision of the DHA. So the first decision point is whether or not the board would like to grant a hearing in this situation based on their review of the DHA decision.
I reviewed the materials Dr. Horrell sent us probably 2 or 3 times since we received them, again last night. At the time, I'd like to move to deny a request for a hearing. I'm comfortable with the decision and what we received from the DHA.
A motion to deny a DHA hearing. Do we have a second?
I will second it. I also reviewed the material and would like to second that.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion on denial of the DHA? I would like to add that I did review.
And this would be, just technically, this would be denial of a hearing. And then we'll have a second
Apologies.
decision. Yep.
So denial of the hearing. Sorry, I wrote it down. I just
all right.
didn't read it right. So I did review the materials as well, and I do support the denial of a hearing as well. And I actually reviewed the materials right before I came in here, as well as when it was originally sent about a week ago. I think it was a week ago. So I have done 2 reviews as well.
Yep, likewise, I've reviewed it as well.
Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Next item.
All right, so this is under the same item. Now that the board has denied the hearing, the board, based on the review of the materials, must vote to either affirm or overturn the decision of the DHA.
I was right.
If I could have
My
just a
apologies.
clarifying question, I know we talked about this, but just to confirm, you would affirm, overturn, or modify the decision of the DHA as I'm looking at the policy?
You cannot, at this point, just to clarify, you would not be able to, at this point, modify it because the hearing was denied.
Okay.
So this would be a motion to either affirm or overturn the decision of the DHA.
Make a motion to affirm the decision of the DHA. Is there a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Next item.
Next item is discussion action on approval of contract with Moss Carpenter Construction for various site improvements at Lakeland Preparatory School.
Is there a motion to get this item on the floor?
So moved.
We have a motion. Is there a second? I'll second it. We have a motion and a second. Dr. Horrell, would you speak to this item?
Yes, as the board is aware, we had several projects that the board chose to consider, and I want to recognize Mike Thierry, who is here with us from Renaissance Group Architects, and he has been instrumental in this project, as he has in so many. And those projects that were all bid out together was a base bid that was the extension of Campus Drive, about which we've been discussing and talking about, contemplating for a number of years. But we also had some alternates, and the alternate number one was the what we call the Annex Road, and that would connect the bus loop at Lakeland Preparatory School with the athletic annex and provide some additional parking, as well as a walking trail that would be separate and apart from the road itself. There is an alternate number two, which was additional soccer complex parking that would more than double the amount of parking spaces at the athletic annex. Alternate number three, which was the expansion of the on-campus soccer field by 10 yards that would make it eligible for TSSAA postseason conference tournament, rather, play. So we were very pleased with to have three very strong bidders come in. It was a nice tight bid, but the contract sum is in the total amount of $2,235,476. And Moss Carpenter Construction was, we felt, the most responsive and best bid in this situation. And I'm recommending that the board approve this approve this contract so we can give Moss Carpenter Construction a notice to proceed on these projects.
Any discussion on this item?
Just a couple of discussion items. As far as parking, how many parking spots are we talking about here?
For the exact number, Mr.
I'm
Thierry?
sorry to put you on the spot.
We won't hear you if you don't know. You can come on up. You'll have to hit the button and turn it red. Button red, hit the button. Far right.
By my memory, I think we are adding 120 roughly,
That's great, okay.
I believe. Certainly check and.
It's fine. And then as far as the addition of the 10 yards on the soccer field, I'm assuming that's including the moving of the necessary drainage items into the proper location, okay?
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah, we're updating some of the drainage off the field. We're redoing the actual irrigation. Most of the field will be regraded because we want the crown of the field to be in the center.
Absolutely.
So yes, it's in essence bringing that whole field up.
The crowning at the annex is amazing and was well done, so that is appreciated, so. Road, is that, as far as, is that just gonna be a standard asphalt driveway over there?
Yes,
Is there any
sir.
requirements that we have to meet according to EPA or TDEC or anything else?
It's a private road, so we don't have to do anything as far as the city of Lakeland standard or state standards in road. It's a 22-foot asphalt drive, and with it, there's a 5-foot walking, we're gonna call it walking trail. It's asphalt that is adjacent to it but separated, and there's a little bit of maneuvering in some places. It's in order to get not only vehicles but students safely from one point to the other and back and forth, so.
Much appreciated. Thank
So,
you.
yeah.
That's all my questions.
So on the walking portion of the road, how it's separated, how will it be separated? And, will parents feel safe if, have older students walking unsupervised? Because of course, we're gonna have high school students that are, gonna transport themselves like down to the field, and they may not, like, our middle school students probably have a teacher, but I can foresee times that, or high school students just decide to go down there, but I mean, you feel that they would safely be able to be pedestrians by the vehicles?
Yes. The distance, again, I wish I had brought the drawings. I think we're 15 feet. Is that right, Dr. Horrell?
From the road?
From the road.
That sounds about right. yeah.
Separated, so there's a 15-foot buffer. Now, there's be quite transparent, there's nothing that would keep an automobile from veering into that.
over.
There's no curbs because this is basically an asphalt drive. but we felt like 15 feet was adequate. Again, the speed, it's imagine there would be speeding along there, but yes, now,
And there's some pretty good curves in the road
pretty,
too, which
pretty
would
good
keep it from.
movement. And there's nothing to say that the students won't walk in the road. Really control that, but if they stay on the path, we feel like that there's, the only place, just again, full transparency, when we cross over the drainage area, we had to narrow it down because of the existing drainage structures that were there. But other than that, they're, I believe, 15 feet away from the drive.
Okay, so from a safety perspective, you feel like for the most part it's spacious and that would provide the
Well,
safety
as a comparison, a standard city street typically has a 5-foot strip and then another 5-foot walkway. So we are 3 times further
Okay,
away
that's good to-
from what a normal street in Memphis or anywhere locally that you would see, so.
You mean the distance between the sidewalk and like a residential road, or we're actually gonna be further than a
Sure, yeah,
typical
and
sidewalk?
like a residential neighborhood, you've got the typical 5-foot, and then in some areas, there's even only 3 feet. So again, I think we're more than triple anything that would be considered normal as far as separation goes.
The, in this contract, does that, I heard, Mr. Acton ask about the drainage that includes that. Does this include, like, we had talked about, we might have to move the discus?
This does not include the cost to relocate the discus. That's not included in this. That would be something that we have to do on our own.
We, add it to this later, or how would that work? Because I know I'd asked some questions
we
also
are-
about the soccer piece.
We are definitely planning, we have to move the discus. The discus pad will be torn out when we
Oh,
expand the field.
okay.
So that's a non-negotiable. They will tear it out, but the companies that we were asking to bid don't specialize in the type of
Okay, so it
equipment.
will
we
be
figured
done,
we
it's
would-
just
It would be
separate.
done. It would just be separate.
Okay.
It's not in this contract. Yeah.
Okay, and then if we did have other things at the soccer field, it could just be added, it just wouldn't be part of this contract?
Correct. Yep,
Okay.
absolutely.
Okay.
And one thing I didn't mention, and no one asked the question, NX Road, we are planning on providing lighting on it. We're doing that through the existing MLGNW poles that are there. It'll be a contract with MLGNW on that. It's not technically in this contract, but it's something that will be happening. So the NX Drive will be lit for safety
Nice, okay.
for people going back and forth.
I'll give you another
So,
example.
Ms.
that
Harrison, that was my question, but thank you.
the actual sod on the soccer field is being bid out separately as well. So we're gonna have turf specialists actually install the sod onto the soccer field. Most of what this is I think what we call earthwork and dirt work and then paving. So that's why these all went together conveniently in a bid package. Doesn't mean we can't or won't do other things to
Okay.
complement this work.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you guys are not aware, on the Annex Campus Drive Road extension, there is a turning lane that's being added to 70, and that's part of this.
Okay.
And I believe, if memory serves, I think we have to relocate one power pole that's down there. But other than that, that's really the only utility that we're dealing with.
It's a right turning lane onto Campus Drive from 70, like
Yes.
coming from Arlington?
Yes.
Just for clarification.
Yes.
So like a
Deceleration
deceleration lane.
lane.
Yeah, okay.
And I think we've discussed it before, but TDOT would be, just for clarification, TDOT would be the ones that decides whether there would be a light at that extension point. This is not something we have any control over and not part of this
Correct.
contract.
Yeah, I can speak on that. We actually submitted documentation requesting a light. We were turned down.
Okay,
So
So it's been decided essentially.
yes, I
Yes.
just want to make sure it's clear, everybody understands it's not eligible to be part of this contract. Any more discussion on this item? Mr. Plumley, do you have any, and I'm sure you've reviewed this with the contract, or any items of note which the board might need? More discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Next item.
thank you.
No further items on this special
Thank you
call
for being
meeting.
here.
Thank you, Mr. Terry.
I'll make a motion to adjourn. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor say
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion passes. We are adjourned.
Let me stop this meeting and start the